Alright, welcome back. We're gonna figure out what the answer to this is. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When a cure enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Cure's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Oh. Rapscallion! Oh, the whole thing on her head. The goose, the geese. You got it. Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, Curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastritic succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers, what are they? So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? That's right! Good gracious! That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Ooh. You gonna let her talk to you like that? Order. Order in the court. Order. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest... Yes, this Curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. No. What is this? Welling up inside me. I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Transform into a werewolf. Oh.
Objection!
Oh, objection. The first objection in the whole entire lineage. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed in the cure? Because... this. Practical applications, right?
Take that!
I'm sorry, Counsel, but the slipshod manner in which you've tossed the evidence before the court does not inspire confidence. Huh? Listen, Ryunosuke, there's no need to overthink this. We know that Cure's toxic effects only come into play when the poison enters the body via a wound, right? So that can only mean that when Dr. Wilson drank his glass of water, he must have had a wound somewhere to let the poison in. Exactly. So we need some evidence that would prove the professor had a wound in his mouth. Aha, of course. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As you know, this poison is completely harmless when investigated. Okay, his report. Dental work.
Take that!
Or as Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you are well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Heh, heh, heh. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile. What? What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. Ooh. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No. I mean, it could just slip. Wow. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! We just let this lady do this? What is it? What happened? It's the English woman. She just smashed that bottle. And in the Supreme Court, what a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken water bottle as possible. At once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy, but I'm afraid we'll never know. Now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle, or not. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel, for the prosecution? Oh, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? It kind of makes me laugh. Looking at the photograph, you know, the poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using Curare, and then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you had arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all that you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't seem to have a shred of evidence. Exactly. As you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Ugh. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now... Is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke, yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about that scene, or the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head? Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's a clue. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Haha, you always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. That's an interesting word there. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the moment, or at the truth about all of this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is this color.
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day? Wait a minute. Where are you going with that? Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph, and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Yes. For blood to have made it into the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter, which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett. I beg your pardon? This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is this the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered saying? This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate. In the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime, I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it, now! Inspector. The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here is what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is the blood on there? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible. I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table, behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. I couldn't agree more. In the case of the disgrace to the Empire. I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. Let's pretend attempt at a courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. The plate of steak has been entered into the court record. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defendant have any objection? Let's see. Yeah. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei coupon? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks like to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today there's been talk of a Hoei coupon. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of a bullion in a... Bullion? Billion? And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei era, too. That would make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in juices as well. Look. What? Are you thinking of eating it? No, but next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. A Koban coin underneath the steak, there's only one logical explanation. This emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat? It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beef steak. It seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. So this is the symbol of La Carnival, is it? Well, I guess that's it, right? That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that reveals a shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye anymore to unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for defense, you will now clearly show the court of what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beef steak is this newly clue to be found? Let's move that. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a coupon coin. Yeah, we got that. We did this already.
Got it!
Got it! Good gracious. That... Come on. What on earth? A Hoey era one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question! How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what that is, but I want no part of it. I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin underneath the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction. Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up the ticket to the Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. A rare Hoey Koban just appears to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyways. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beef steak is...
Take that!
The old man. Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and the owner of Raisu Tai. Curio Korekuta-san. Kuri as in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. The one man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with this Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshots interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Koban, my prized coin. Then this Koban, do you mean to tell me? No. Please, why would Korekuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beef steak and his plate? It makes no sense. Which is why I'm asking to bring Kurokuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again, but I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in this case. Oh, we got them all up here now. Oh, what was the voice I gave him? What's this all about? Why have I been caught up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for a little baby Ado? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witnesses. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Raisute shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Kurokuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Raisute memory serves, have you... Wah! Yes, that's it. The one, the very exact one that it is. They're resplendent. Splendiferous, a holy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be true. Or, it can't be true. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. You found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing to do. Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. I don't know why I replaced the Q with the N there. I was thinking of nip. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief in the work of the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Kurokuta-san's or Korekuta-san's Kuban is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is this fickle scoundrel that stole Kurokuta-san's Kuban and hid it in a mistake?
Take that!
That man. Obviously, it could only be you. Sergeant Aisa Nosa? What? How? How dare you monster? Monster? I stole that coupon, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet. But it wasn't me, it was Ido. Ido was behind the mastermind. Master of the mind of the minds. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. You are! Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. Ah! What in the word? Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Aisa Nosa preparing to stand down in the courtroom, sir. And we were gonna have to see what shenanigan will go on and how many more things will happen before we end this case, because it is long, 4 hours already. Like, woo! Thanks for watching. Hope you like, subscribe, and follow on other things.